And we return to our developing story this morning that the former Prime Minister Jim Bolger has died at the age of 90. He was the 35th Prime Minister of this country after leading National to a landslide victory in 1990. He stayed in the top job until he was ousted. Politics can be brutal. He was the leader of his caucus until 1997 and was replaced by one Dame Jenny Shipley, who is our former Prime Minister, former National Leader, of course, joining us to remember Jim Bolger this morning. Dame Jenny, nice to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning.
What are you feeling this morning?
Oh, New Zealand's lost a very special person. You can use the political words. He was a statesman. He clearly was a very important leader for New Zealand. But I remember him in a number of ways. Firstly, I want to acknowledge his family. Jim and Joan Bolger had one of the great relationships in political history in New Zealand, and they served our nation together. They lived their values together, and in very many respects, they loved the National Party, and what they did led New Zealand, but they were a very special group together. I remember him as a person who did what was right. We came into government at a time where New Zealand was in a very difficult position, and it would be easy to make excuses, but he did two very special things. He was willing to take on long-term issues, and they were controversial and difficult, but he was prepared to do that work, and as a team, he built a very strong team, and we were able to turn New Zealand around for the prosperity that we then enjoyed following that. I think the second thing was his legacy in reparation and redress for Maori. I was at the table when he just decided that it was the right thing to do, along with Doug Graham and others. And these were very important moments for New Zealand, and the New Zealand we are today, to some extent, is a legacy, much more than a legacy. It's a gift from the leadership that he was willing to exercise that led to huge results. And it was partly because he could build relationships. He did it across coalitions, he did it across the caucus, he did it through his cabinet, and he would allow vigorous debate and experiment if necessary, but he could then negotiate his way forward and make progress. So he has many contributions that he's did for us.
Dame Jenny, obviously his time as leader, as Prime Minister, came to an end in 1997. Can you just talk us through, I was very young at that time, talk us through what caused that, what led up to that, what that was about?
Well, I'm not sure that this is the moment to dig through history. What I would say is that when you're in politics and you work leader to leader,
Dame Jenny, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We've got a terrible problem with your line. We might try and fix that up and see if we can come back to you. I'm speaking to Dame Jenny Shipley, who was former Prime Minister of New Zealand, of course, talking to us from Northland this morning, just reflecting on the life of Jim Bolger, who, if you haven't caught up with the news, has sadly passed away at the age of 90. He was living on the Kapiti Coast. He's survived by his wife, Joan, his grandchildren, his many grandchildren and great-grandchildren, who are all mourning the loss of their loved one this morning. Dame Jenny is back with us. Dame Jenny, you were just talking about 1997.
Right. I don't think today is the day to dig through the political machinations, but what I can say is Jim gave me huge opportunities as a young woman. As a minister in 1990, he gave me the chance, even though it was a controversial role. We always worked closely together, and he knew that at some point there would be a change, and we had talked about that often. He was exemplary in the way that he handled it. We spoke about what he would do next, and he went on to assist New Zealand enormously through his role as ambassador in the United States. These are, of course, difficult moments, but they're not moments that deserve to be aired today.
Fair enough. What do you think the lesson is, the leadership lesson is from Jim?
Oh, was a skilled negotiator. He worked with the unions. He built a team. Bill Birch, hugely important for him. Doug Graham, hugely important for him. Don McKinnon in Foreign Affairs, hugely close. But he worked, myself in the portfolios I had, Ruth Richardson, when she held the finance role. he would give you a job, and if you did it well, he was not all over you. He would ask you to agree, and then you would go and do it. And the collective team that he led was able to deliver enormous achievements across many, many fronts. In global politics, he made us an export-led nation with confidence. He built strong relationships with new nations. He reignited old alliances. And he didn't turn away from the controversial issues of the time around the nuclear issue. So he could navigate and negotiate and deliver results. He wasn't just a talker, he was a doer. And while there are a lot of cliches referred to in terms of Jim's personality, I found him to be a person of incredible integrity, a very supportive leader when I was a minister, and we worked through the difficult issues of transition. And I deeply appreciated his professionalism during that period.